Okay, if you're coming across me from the Doctor Who convention or through my chat with Podcastica with Taylor and is it John? I'll check in before I do that and fix it. I think it's John. Anyway, if you're coming to me from that side of things, there's 3 podcasts that I do currently, sort of. Shattered Worlds RPG is my baby. I created a role-playing game and a podcast and started writing books, all in the world of Shattered Worlds. It's a sort of sci-fi fantasy epic set in a distant future, in a distant galaxy. It's irreverent, it's goofy, it's thought-provoking, and everything I do is through a leftist, unionist, anti-racist, anti-Zionist lens. So if that's not for you, you might as well jump off right now. The other shows I do are Everything is Awesome with Jeff and Question Mark. It used to be with KC, and before that it was just Everything is Awesome. But we had a conflict because another guy had started his podcast, or he restarted his podcast at the same time as we started in 2014. That's a funny story. He eventually came on our podcast, so that was fun. You know, I should call him Nerdy Kev and see if he wants to have me on. It's been what was that, 2017? It's been a long time. Anywho, shout out to Nerdy Kev. Check out his Everything is Awesome podcast. But ours was about arts and music and social issues and writing. That show has been on hiatus since my co-host left, which, boy howdy, if you get into podcasting, you'll know that people leave and it sucks. But sometimes the show must go on. So Everything is Awesome is like that. I bring it back when there's journalistic stuff going on. So I might do something over there about this convention. And my last guest, Sophia B., is on there, and she and her people did a eco-protest about the peat bogs in Sweden and got arrested. And update, they were all released, charges were all dismissed. So I think that's good. I don't know. It's all about grinding down the gears, and slowing the march of the machine. But yeah, you can hear all about that stuff, whether it's Game of Thrones or Westworld or, we talked about the George Orwell writing about the slaughter of natives in the Philippines under Teddy Roosevelt. We've gone all over the map there, and you can find all sorts of local artists and national people with all sorts of interesting ideas and topics. There's one episode where I tell the story of how I was gang stalked, or my wife and I were gang stalked. That was a fun time. I don't remember the number of that, but yeah, check that out. Everything is Awesome with Jeff and Question Mark, because every time I have somebody on now, it's like they're my co-host. And so that's Shattered Worlds RPG. Everything is Awesome. And my newest podcast, The Great and Secret Knowledge, a speculative fiction podcast in which me and a bunch of my friends talk over and really dive into the text on films and books and TV shows. Video games are on the list. We haven't tackled those yet. Weird fiction. We started out with Piranesi. That's how we got our title, The Great and Secret Knowledge. We've done the X-Files, The Wizard of Oz, In the Mouth of Madness, The Thing. Books we're covering Bartimaeus Trilogy and The Vor Game. Gosh, I could go on, but check that out at greatandsecretknowledge.libsyn.com and see what it's all about. Hey folks, this is Jeff. I have arrived at the hotel and there is an army of nerds all around me. Most of them are my age or older, but I'm sure I will find some of them relatable. Oh boy. This is, I'm out of my depth here. I feel like I'm back in band with my trombone. The first day of school. I can't hit that note. Well, shit. Howdy. I'm back home. I'm safe. I survived. Schlepping my luggage around the city of Los Angeles, or a tiny postage stamp part of it. Folks, my first ever fan convention at the ripe old age of 48 years old, it was pretty fucking great. I saw people that, like, my God, every time I've seen something autographed or like people getting selfies or snapshots, whatever, with celebrities, I've always just thought, what a waste. So silly. Why do people do this to themselves? And then I spent $1,000 in like hotel room, plane fare, more than that, to watch this convention and to see these incredible actors and writers and directors, producers, these people that have created something that's brought so much joy into my life and thousands of other people, millions, I don't know. I don't know how many fans there are of Doctor Who, if it's 100,000, if it's 10, if it's 1 million, I don't know. But certainly brought a lot of excitement and fun to millions of people. But yeah, I never went to a fan convention before. And so I was worried about how it would go. Would I feel lost and alone the whole time? And I'll be honest with you, there was some of that. Maybe if I lived in the area, like if it was Emerald City Comic Con and I just popped up there for the day, wouldn't have felt that. But, you know, you're in there in the hotel where everything's happening, popping off till late, and you're not invited to any of the parties necessarily, or you're in the lobby and you're watching everybody just yuck it up with their crews. But those people have known each other for years and years and years. Like, so if I continue to go to these things, like I'll see the people I know. You know, it's like this was just toe in the water. I met some incredible people. I had tons of fun, and I get to prepare for next year. So, yeah, thank God I had some disposable income and my vacation days lined up. I'm going to try to go to Worldcon, which is in Seattle this year. I'm a fantasy writer, as you know, so to be able to meet the sci-fi fantasy folks, like right there on the floor and hear their panels and stuff, like I got to get in on that. Okay, we're in the middle of the lobby. It's freaking crazy here. I got talked to by Sylvester McCoy, and then Wendy Padbury smiled at me. Wendy Padbury. Let me get that out properly. But all that was eclipsed because the most attractive woman in this building sat near me. But it didn't go anywhere. Don't worry about it. Oh, God.
conventions. It's fun so far, even though I don't know anyone.
I'm all over the place. Let me back up a bit. I did those first two like check-ins, on my on the Zoom recorder, and they I haven't listened to them back yet. They probably sound like hell, but basically every time I looked at my gear, I took all my gear, right? Every time I looked at it and thought, man, I'd like to podcast, but like I'm not a solo podcaster, right? That's not my deal. I've done it here and there, but like it's not my forte, right? So I was like, I could harass everybody I meet to be on my podcast, or I could just sort of sidle my way into the thing. I kind of wish the podcasters meetup was on the first day, because then we would have had the next 2 days to sort of network and having met each other and be on each other's shows. I'm going to recommend that for next year and whatever things I go to. But yeah, anywho, where should I begin? I've already begun. Fuck. This is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a solo guy. So if I was to pretend I was a solo guy, I would talk directly to somebody that I really appreciate and respect, and who would understand the joy that this I must be feeling in this moment. So I'm going to speak directly to you, James Lark, our Bartimaeus correspondent. Like me, James is a Doctor Who fan par excellence. He's read all the books. He's listened to tons of Big Finish. He's watched all the shows. He's been on tons of podcasts talking about them, particularly Hamster with a Blunt Penknife, which everyone within the sound of my voice should go listen to immediately. There's hundreds of episodes. Absolutely going to find something you like, as long as it involves Doctor Who in some form or fashion.
All right, we're back. I have not been drinking enough water. Apparently, finding beverages is a big part of a convention. Everything's so overpriced at the hotel, and it's like a amenities dead zone around this place. Like where I'm from in Seattle, the airport is surrounded by like a Denny's and various gas stations and all manner of bodegas and things. Restaurants open early, and here it's just like double the prices for everything. There's a Starbucks in the hotel that is Starbucks, and I'm boycotting Starbucks. So I'm out of coffee in my room, so yeah, there's really no choice. The little breakfast place down the street is closed on Sundays, so yeah. I'm so sleepy. I got up early to meet with the guys from Podcastica to listen to their podcast. I've met so many cool people, a lot of them in the gaming room. We've been playing Cubicle 7 Doctor Who RPG, and that's taken a lot of my time. I just love role-playing games so much. And then we had a podcasters meetup, which was really cool. That's where I met these fellas and a bunch of other folks. It's weird being such a creator, sort of initiator, producer, because I'm not in charge. I have no involvement. I have nothing really scheduled other than stuff to go see and listen to. Not being the GM was unusual. Not that I'm the GM all the time, but it's just there's no control. I'm completely at the whims of whoever and whatever rolls by. Oh man. I've been reading a lot of comic books. I'm not really a comics guy, but there's so much Doctor Who to ingest. There's tables full of old novels. Well, I guess there's some new ones too, but hundreds of old ones. So, been doing that a lot. One thing that was funny is I went to the Nicola Bryant interview. She played Perry Brown from the 80s Doctor Who TV show. And she was great. But it was funny because like 98% of the attendees were men of a certain age. One of the reasons they cast Perry apparently was for men to enjoy her looks. But she's also a terrific actress. And had a lot of great stories. Was very funny. So that was lovely to see her. I've also seen Sylvester McCoy and Colin in like a comedic interview. They were just cutting up the whole time. I saw Catherine Tate, who plays Donna Noble, and she is incredible. She's a stand-up. She was basically just did crowd work the whole time, just wandering around the crowd, asking or answering people's questions. It was so funny. There's this girl in a 13th Doctor, well, she might have been a woman, anyway, in a 13th Doctor cosplay in front of me, and she had her arm up the entire time. I mean, it was like 45 minutes to an hour. And Catherine Tate, finally, we all started pointing at this woman, like, right at the end. And so Catherine Tate came over, and it was just a total, like, bizarre situation. The girl, or the woman, started laughing hysterically because someone else had already asked her a question. And to me, it just epitomizes this sort of thing, fandom. Is like, I just want to, like, be a part of the show. And I assume that's what motivated her. But man, she just, like, died laughing, could barely get a word out. And Catherine Tate seemed to enjoy that. And, that was kind of a fun capper for that thing. Everything else is just the weirdness of being in this neighborhood. Folks with cars or rental cars get to enjoy LA the way it's meant to. But I've had to walk everywhere. And the first day it was just raining cats and dogs, so I really haven't explored this area as much as I could have. And the other thing is, like, people have been ordering DoorDash, and I almost considered ordering coffee on DoorDash this morning just to not have to buy Starbucks. And if you're wondering why I don't buy Starbucks, it's because the nation of Israel is supported by Starbucks. The war in Gaza, it's just a bummer, and I'd rather not take part. But that's probably the worst thing about the convention. Everything else has been sunny and bright and beautiful, and I can't wait to come back next year.
So, getting back to the trip. Why don't I start at the beginning? Yeah? What made me want to do it? I guess I just started buying books and, like, getting comic books from the library and stuff. It was like, even though I'd seen all of Doctor Who and was fully caught up, I needed more. And that had never really happened before. Like, I got into Star Trek a little before Doctor Who, maybe 2015. 2014, I don't know, somewhere in there. I had liked it when I was a kid, but I started listening to a podcast. Most everything comes out of podcasting these days because it is the greatest thing of all time. And so I got into the Greatest Generation podcast and the Greatest Trek. But I would get, like, books, and they'd be all right, but they wouldn't, like, stick with me, really. Even the good ones, like Kobayashi Maru and others, it just kind of floated out of my brain. So even though I love Star Trek, and I love the philosophy, and I love all of it, I even love parts of Enterprise now, which I never thought would be possible. Voyager is, like, my favorite show, basically, that isn't Doctor Who. It's neck and neck. But Yeah. So, but even there, I couldn't call myself a fan per se, or at least not the type of fan that I need to go to every Star Trek convention that exists, and get like a uniform and I mean, I do watch a ton of Star Trek with my podcasting friends, so I could probably call myself a fan. But Doctor Who, the reason it's my first fan convention is because of the people. The people in this game, from the actors to the writers to the producers, they just care about it so deeply, and they bring hope and joy and connection and support and mental health. I mean, check out Vincent and the Doctor just to see why I might be interested. If you have already been listening, you know that I'm autistic. I have bipolar 2, which is the rapid cycling kind. I have ADHD, which I'm unmedicated for because it's a pain in the ass. But I've been on bipolar medicine since 2014 when I started this, my first podcast, Everything is Awesome, strangely enough. But mental health is hugely important to me. I didn't even realize I was autistic until 2021. Trauma. I had pretty severe bullying and some light domestic abuse, which that's the fucked up thing about trauma is something that lasted a brief period and kind of went away is fucked up my sex life and like whole portions of my existence for a long time. And I didn't have Doctor Who. Maybe if I had Doctor Who back then, I would have known, A, this is wrong. B, I'm going to get through it. C, I could maybe travel through time and space someday. It might have helped me a lot. But anyway, it's there, and it helps people, and it brings people together, and it unites Britain and Australia and the U.S. and anywhere else somebody can speak English or can understand why it's funny or moving or whatever. They probably watch it in France or Germany or somewhere if it's translated, or if they have subtitles. Anyway, the point is it's a very important show, and there are hundreds of books. There's probably thousands of comics. I bought a ton, never having been a comic book person before this. So anyway, that's my fan journey. I'm all in. I'm invested. I'm not the type that's going to spend all my money on it, Big Finish and comic books. I mean, one could go very, very broke. And I'm an artist. I got to pay for all this gear, and I need a new mixing board. For those who've been listening, you know that things have been a little shaky here and there of late. So, so I'm not going to buy everything, and I'm not really a collector anyway. No shade to those who are, but it's always felt kind of like gambling to me. Is acquisitive. My mom's a sort of semi-hoarder, with all due respect, and it gives me the heebie-jeebies to have too much stuff or have it, stacked up. Books that I haven't read yet really bum me out. But then getting rid of books is hard too. So anywho, long story short, collection isn't really my deal. So that's not the type of fan I'm going to be. However, every type of fan is catered to at this thing. There's so much joy and so much love. I spend a ton of time in the gaming room playing the Cubicle 7 Doctor Who RPG, led by Jen, who is our GM. She was incredible, totally professional, had these scenarios down, and was just so funny and so smart. I got to play Martha Jones, Doctor, twice. I got to replay the same scenario and do it slightly differently with different characters. Oh man, so much fun. Fucking A. If you've never played a tabletop role-playing game, please do yourself a favor. Get into some Doctor Who RPG, some Star Trek adventures, maybe one of the really simple games called Powered by the Apocalypse. There's Dungeon World. God, there's so many. There's so many. It's a very broad system. But yeah, there's games that are a lot easier to pick up and learn than Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition or Pathfinder, any of those standard chunky games. Crunchy, one of those. Chunky as well. You could fill an entire warehouse with Dungeons & Dragons books, and somebody probably already has. So yeah, this is why I'm not a solo podcaster, folks. I'm going all over the fucking place. Let's see. What was I talking about? Role-playing games. Yeah, if you haven't tried, get into it. Anyway, what else? There were Star Trek people there. I got a nice little pin from one of them. One of the gimmicks for Gallifrey One, this convention. Oh yeah, that's what it's called, Gallifrey One in Los Angeles. Is they get these ribbons and you stack them like top to bottom below your lanyard, below your badge. And some people got so many that they were like rolling them up and putting them together with paper clips and stuff. I am not that guy. I guess I'm a bit of a snob and a hipster, and also sensory processing issues. I can't have a lot of shit cluttering up my facade. So I picked 3. I got Eat the Rich, something with Daleks, and my pronouns, and that was enough for me. So, but no shade to people that had hundreds. Fucking kick ass. You met tons of people. Although some of these rivet people, it was funny. They'd just come up and start handing them out, wouldn't say a fucking word, and it was like, oh, that's a collector, right? Yeah. Sometimes I feel like they're a different species, but there's a lot of things like that in life, right? I mean, I found out I'm autistic, and I always thought autistic people were like, this language is going to be hurtful. So I always thought in the past, when I was ignorant and didn't know better, is that they were annoying, couldn't talk, or they talked your ear off about stuff you didn't care about. Right? So that's a flavor of autism. And then there's your highly masked people like myself that are learning to let go of all those shitty old messages and going to a fan convention where there's so many of these collector types. It's kind of like what's that therapy called where you're like exposure therapy. It's like exposure therapy to these types of people that you don't see every day or in every corner of your life, or they're hiding and they're masking and stuff. Here at the convention, you can just fucking do what you do. At one point, I shocked myself. I said, "Oi," to get a kid to get out of my way so I could go down a hallway. Like, fucking, you just be yourself at these things. I mean, I'm finding out that I've been a bit of a closet furry for a long, long time, and that might be a thing that I explore at a convention next. I don't know. It's not sexual because I haven't had sex in years now. Thank you, universe. I thought for sure I would meet some freaky lady down there, but it didn't happen. Or I did, and I missed my shot. Anywho, oh man, hey, pink-haired girl, if you're listening, did I miss my shot? LFA Tacoma, on all your socials. Anywho, role-playing games, meeting cool people. There was a pool, I never got in it. I had a balcony, I barely sat on it. For some reason, I got 2 double beds. Oh, I thought AJ might be able to come down if I sweetened the deal, but they had to work or what have you. Speaking of, if anybody wants to go to Gallifrey One next year, hit me up. Let's be friends at LFA Tacoma on all your socials. And yeah, maybe we can bunk up or hang out here and there. Yeah. So anyway, that was that part of it. But that podcasters meetup, man, that was the key. And it was unfortunate that it took place on Saturday rather than Thursday or Friday, because I wanted to get to know all those people. I managed to meet up in the morning with folks from Podcastica, and then I managed to talk to Ben and Mandy from, Jump Leads. What was their original show? Game of Rassilon. They did a live show at the con, but I missed it because I was playing a game. And Good Chaotic, which I've been listening to all day or all afternoon on my way to the flight and then during. And great show. A lot like Shattered Worlds RPG, in fact. Like fun, time travel, fucking space shenanigans. So yeah, really cool show. Good Chaotic. Dan Peck is the GM for that one. Fucking great GM. I love an actual play that doesn't bury the whole thing in a fucking sound bed. Actual play podcasters, I beg of you, keep that shit to a minimum. Unless you are a composer and are composing music to match every beat of your production, it's going to drive me fucking nuts. It's going to kick me out of the story. When we're talking mechanics, when we're bullshitting, like, there should not be music. Anyways, that's just my auditory processing issues raging against the dying of the light. James Lark. That's who I'm talking to, right? James, you know what's up. I saw Sylvester McCoy, the Seventh Doctor. I saw Wendy Padbury, Zoe Harriet, one of the Second Doctor's companions. I saw Fraser Hines, who must be 90-something, looks 70. I don't know how he does it. Nicola Bryant looking, I should not objectify her. She's had more than enough of that to last a lifetime. But Nicola Bryant, still looking good at 60 or whatever. So many cool people, so many great writers. Paul Mars, Gary Russell, the producers of Doctor Who were there. A couple of ladies, Julie and Jill. I missed their talk, but I saw Nicola Bryant's interview. She talked about getting into drama school and like having to pretend to be American the whole time she was on Doctor Who. Sort of like a marketing strategy or whatever, because she had lied to them when she joined. Oh, shit. That was a great interview. Let's see. She was Perry Brown. She was the Sixth Doctor's companion. Colin Baker, the Sixth Doctor, his stories were kind of hard to deal with in the 80s, or at least they're less beloved than the other Doctor's episodes. But when he does Big Finish audio, his voice acting is amazing. He should be much more well known. He should be on tons of cartoons. The guy is a goddamn treasure. And best of all, he makes every moment in a convention as beautiful and as loving and wonderful as it can be. His comedic timing with Sylvester McCoy, they're back and forth, so good. If you don't know about Colin Baker, find out about Colin Baker. The guy is a saint. Yeah, just a really lovely, wonderful person. But anyway, the con was run really well, except for a few technical glitches here and there. It just was amazing. There was really weird, heavy rain the first day, and I got soaked on my way to the In-N-Out Burger, which still doesn't have veggie burgers in the year of our Lord 2025. Come on, get it together, In-N-Out. Fuck, where was I? Yeah, the guests. The guests were just great. And of course there were new people. Jenna Coleman, I didn't see any of her stuff, but she was there. Who else? Maybe she was the only one from New Who. That can't be right. Is that right? Was she the only New Who person there? I mean, the show is made in London, and so everybody has to travel over. So, it's probably easier for the retirees or the people who work less. Correction. Michelle Greenidge, who played Carla Sunday on this most recent season of Doctor Who, was there. I saw her, and she was talking to a fan at her autograph table. And once again, I was too shy to engage. I could have waited, and I had money. I could have just paid for the autograph, even though I had nothing for her to autograph. Just a piece of paper would have worked. Because I friggin' love her. She was amazing on that show, and she seems like a nice enough lady. And you know what? You gotta take any opportunity to welcome new people into Who, whether it's kids or people who are in their 40s or the actors themselves. Like, welcome them into the fandom and into the community, and bring them all together. So Michelle Greenidge, amazing. Watch the Ncuti Gatwa season on Disney Plus to see her just shine off the screen. She's incredible. Michelle Greenidge. If I think of any other people from New Who that were there, I will check in again. All right. Bye.
All right, everybody, sound off. Who are you? What's your deal?
I am Taylor. I am one of the co-hosts of Podcastica, one of the co-hosts of Phenomena City Limits, and
Is that it?
yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. What else do you want to know?
Yeah, what else do you want to know? Hello, everyone. I am John. I am the owner and operator of Night of the Living Geeks Network. I'm also the other half of Podcastica and one half of the soon-returning Yakety Cast. I don't know what else Taylor said, so that's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, thank you for all you do. It was nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you
no
too.
worries, man. Thanks for taking notes.
Like we said, it was a very thank you for taking notes, and it was a very I think our most successful podcaster meetup in terms of sharing story and advice to other people.
Yeah.
I decided to put the chairs in a circle like a 12-step group.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
No,
that was good.
That was perfect. I know I called it group therapy, which, podcasting sometimes is.
I mean, it was. I thought it was. I felt better than I did before, so I think that's usually what it does.
Yeah. I really enjoyed how nice everyone was.
Yes.
And, supportive for that 15-year-old.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
for sure.
I think that, if anything, that was my biggest takeaway was how I hope that person coming out of that felt super supportive and could reach out to any one of us for advice.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I'd say more so reach out to Ben.
Yeah.
Because that's what
Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben from Game of Wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raffle on.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
chaotic.
Jump Lead.
Yes.
Yes.
Jump Leads is really good.
Yeah, I thought it was good that we didn't scare them.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean,
because there's some things about podcasting that suck, but most of it's awesome.
Oh.
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think most of us at least do it because, I started doing it with Taylor because, I just want to talk to my friend about a show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just happen to have microphones. I'm like, let's just put it out there. I don't think anybody is when they start podcasting is this is going to make millions of dollars.
Not the way that people who buy laser engravers go I can just push a button and make money on Etsy.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of people who think that way. That's not how it works.
Okay, well, I'll cross that off my money-making list.
Yeah, do.
Thanks.
Sorry.
But no, I felt really good about hopefully giving that 15-year-old a community that can support them.
Yeah, and then that's what I love. It's nobody in that group was gatekeeping.
No one was
Yeah.
smoking
At
a
all.
cigarette going, Let me tell you about my podcasting experience.
You'll never make it.
You'll never make it, kid.
Yeah. So that's what you expected, Gally, is a supportive
Yes.
group.
This is my first fan convention.
Is it
I
really?
Felt like yeah.
Wait,
like,
so this is like your first galley?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I did not
Did you
know
say
that.
it's every
Welcome.
other year?
No, it's
Every
every
year.
year.
Okay, good. I can't wait to come back.
Every year.
Yeah.
We'll be here.
So
Yeah, we'll be
how
here.
did you hear about Gally?
Well, I didn't start watching Doctor Who for real until like 2016.
Okay.
And I've never been I've always been a dilettante when it comes to pop culture, like just dipping in and out. And so it's the first time I've ever bought extra media, read fan fiction.
Mhm.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
like, well, I guess I'm a fan now, so I should go to this thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Great. Are you from the area?
No, near Seattle.
Oh, right on. Very cool. I've never been up to Seattle. I would love
I
to
went
go.
1998. I'm sure it's changed. a
Oh,
bit
wow.
since then. Yeah,
No,
it's been a long
It's
time.
probably exactly the same, Taylor. It's only been.
I found out Worldcon is there this year.
Yes, that was. That was the other interesting
Oh,
thing.
uh-huh.
Was,
Yeah.
We had someone. We were like, "And what podcast do you do?" And they stood up and said, "I am not a podcaster. I'm here in secret. I'm running another con," and gave us all cards. So it was like, not only did we give a sense of community for someone starting out, and it was very positive overall. We also got cards for possibly maybe being super involved in another convention, which was unexpected and very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, wanted to do possibly live podcasting and stuff.
Oh yeah, Lauren looked when she said
Programming.
live podcasting. Lauren looked at me and I went, because we have a whole setup. I have a board at home, so with
Yeah.
4 microphones. So
Yeah, and we can show them how real tech works.
yes, or not. Maybe the media gods will curse me for how I've spoken.
Oh, your
saying
hubris.
No.
Hoisted.
How did I not know not to press the button that said "Don't press this button"?
That's why I have 5 backups to every podcast.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
And if you're in Hollywood, maybe Freema Agyeman is there, Jenna Coleman's definitely there, Arthur Darvill, who played Roy Williams, Karen Gillan, who played Nebula on the Guardians of the Galaxy. It might be easier for them to come up, but they're also absurdly expensive, no doubt. So maybe they could only afford the one Jenna Coleman, who is tremendous. I wish I'd seen her, but you make choices at these things, whether it's to go get some dinner, take a nap, hit up the gaming room. You might miss some things. But yeah, I was actually sitting there in the pavilion, in the main ballroom, just finished up with all the classic doctors and companions, and her thing was up next, and I was like, I gotta go check on my gaming homies, and I took off. It's not that I don't like Jenna Coleman or her character Clara Oswald. It's just, it doesn't speak to me. Now if it was Freema Agyeman who played Martha Jones, hell yeah, you better bet I might have even talked to her. But this is how these things build, right? I played her in a role-playing game a couple times. If she shows up at the next one, I might fork out that extra bucks to get a photo or hang out on the top floor, watch a script reading. Oh, man, Martha Jones. Y'all, get into some Doctor Who. There's the new show, starts in 2005, or you could start with the new Disney sort of update, reboot, sort of a what do you call it? Fresh relaunch. Anyway, with Ncuti Gatwa, or you could start with the specials. Those are on, those in the Ncuti Gatwa season are on Disney Plus. The 60-year specials have Catherine Tate playing Donna Noble and David Tennant playing the 10th Doctor. Although he's regenerated into the 14th Doctor, you got to watch Doctor Who to make any sense of this. But if you are interested, either check out Disney Plus or HBO Max or whatever it's on in your area, or you could go fully classic and hit up BritBox and get all 27 seasons of the shit. It's so good. Colin Baker, Tom Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, William Hartnell, Paul McGann. I might be missing. Oh, Peter Davidson, who is the father of Georgia Tennant, David Tennant's wife, who plays my favorite character in Doctor Who, Jenny, the Doctor's daughter, from the episode The Doctor's Daughter, with David Tennant, Freema Agyeman, and Catherine Tate, and Georgia Moffat, now Georgia Tennant, playing Jenny. Oh, so good. Might be my favorite episode. I think Enemy of the World. It's like Enemy of the World, Invasion of the Dinosaurs, The Beast Below, The 11th Hour. You know, I started with Matt Smith. But anyway, if you're not a Doctor Who person, I don't know why you'd be listening to this this deep into the thing. But if you're not, fucking go watch this shit. You can start at any point. It's mostly an episodic show, and sometimes they have like a significant series arc or season arc. But it's absent, or it's so minorly sprinkled that it's fine. You can look up lists of the best episodes, or the best episodes to start. You know, there's the Caves of Androzani if you go classic. There's Genesis of the Daleks, Invasion of the Dinosaurs, Carnival of Monsters. And then there's new episodes like The Doctor's Daughter, which so many people hate. You probably shouldn't start with that one. The 11th Hour. What's the first Chris Eccleston one? Rose. It's all about Rose Tyler, the first companion of the new series. Yeah. Oh man, it'd be fun to meet Chris Eccleston. He's kind of dipped his toe back into Doctor Who. He like did one season. He was out. He had nothing to do with it. Didn't go to cons or anything until recently, when he started doing Big Finish audios, which are audio dramas set in the world of Doctor Who. So he came back for those. So maybe he'll be going to conventions. I don't know. I'm new to this life, folks. But I want to get in on it. Worldcon is coming up here in Seattle. I want to go to my first one of those. Of course, there's one the next year in LA, so I could go back for that. Yeah, I'm going to just... I never was a travel person before. I thought it was a waste of money. I'm an artist, right? I spend that money on other stuff, but... now I have a little bit more. My car's paid off. I can save up for these things. And, you know, maybe I'll go to Star Trek Las Vegas. Maybe I'll go to Star Trek Long Island. Maybe I'll go to the United Kingdom and go to Doctor Who conventions there. The world's my oyster, I guess, at least until RFK Jr. sends me to a mental health work camp, or I'm imprisoned in a black site for being an outspoken leftist and trade unionist. Oh, boy. So that's another thing that happened while I was down there, is this RFK bullshit, is the president just openly defying court orders. I don't know if that's ever happened in our nation's history or what, but it is fundamentally threatening our way of life, and that's scary. Also, peace sort of broke out in Gaza since we talked last. It's fucked up. It's so fucked up. Oh my God. But people are going back to their homes, or whatever's left of them, and that's cool. So yeah, it was rough. Like I'd be sitting there reading a Doctor Who book or comic book or looking around and seeing all these happy people, and then I'd check my phone to check in like on Discord with my homies or Facebook to see what's going on amongst the attendees, and pretty soon I'm doom scrolling about what's happening to immigrants, like violating these court orders, just all manner of fucked up bullshit. I mean, what about those terrible fires that killed people and burned down millions of homes in LA, like that finally got controlled a week before the convention? Like, just a lot to think about, a lot going on. And that was hard for me. I think it would be nice if I could just disconnect and cut loose for a week at one of these things. Maybe down the road I can do something like that. Again, if I'm free and able. Oh boy, this is getting less fun all the time. Anywho, I'm back home. I'm starving. I'm going to eat something. I'm going to smoke some weed. And I'm going to reflect on my experience. And then I'm going to get back to editing podcasts so you guys have something to enjoy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Gallifrey One, everybody there, all the conventioneers, the people who put it on, the volunteers, all the people and their handlers and the hotel staff, the cleaners, just all the little businesses I visited, like all the hardworking people and the friendly citizens of Los Angeles. I just want to open up my chest and show everybody my heart. You're all invited to this bloody morass. As long as I take breath, I will remember you. And goddamn, what a week. Thank you. Take care of yourselves. Love each other. Love yourselves. And stay strong. We're all in this together. Peace.
A huge thanks to James Lark of jameslark.co.uk for providing our wonderful theme song. Thank you, James.